For 309 days, the ground outside Jakarta remembered. In 1965, Indonesia did not change gradually. It fractured overnight. A failed coup was announced. A military response followed. And later, it would be used to justify one of the largest mass killings of the 20th century. So vast, so disorganized, and so politically dangerous that even today, no single agreed upon account exists. Lubang Buaya, the Crocodile Hole, sits at the center of that fracture, a shallow pit outside Jakarta where bodies were dumped and where violence became something the nation would later be instructed to remember, but never fully understand. On the night of September 30th, 1965, several senior Indonesian military officers were abducted from their homes. By morning, 6 were dead. Within hours, the event was named the 30th of September Movement. But the name explained nothing. From the beginning, the story fractured into competing versions, each carrying enormous political consequences. One version claimed a communist coup attempt had failed. Another suggested internal military conflict. Others argued the entire event was staged or manipulated to justify what followed. Evidence was selective, witness accounts conflicted, and the narrative shifted as power consolidated. What matters is not which version is correct. Historians still debate this today, but that the event provided immediate justification for extraordinary action. Within days, the military declared control. Emergency powers expanded. Lists were drawn up. Accusations spread faster than verification ever could. The night of September 30th was not just an incident. It was a turning point, the moment when uncertainty was resolved not through investigation, but through force. What followed was not a crackdown in the conventional sense. It was a purge. In the months after September 1965, Indonesia entered one of the largest episodes of mass killing of the 20th century. Hundreds of thousands were killed. Some estimates place the number far higher. There is no final count, because counting stopped long before the violence did. People were taken at night, accused without evidence. Bodies were dumped into rivers, thrown into pits, buried in unmarked ground. Families waited for people who never returned and learned very quickly not to ask why. This violence was not carried out by a single group. It involved military units, paramilitary organizations, local militias, and civilians pressured into participation. Fear moved faster than facts. Survival depended on knowing when to stay silent, when to look away, when to forget in public. And over time, silence itself became a skill. It was mass erasure, and it happened fast enough that no one could stop it once it began. Lubang Buaya did not remain a crime scene. Crime scenes invite questions. They imply investigation. Lubang Buaya was transformed into something else entirely, a site of instruction, a place where meaning was no longer discovered, but assigned. The pit where bodies were dumped became a monument. Chaos was reorganized into certainty. Visitors were shown what to remember, but not what to ask. This is how places become dangerous in a different way, not because they hide the truth, but because they replace it. What was buried there was not only bodies, it was uncertainty and the possibility of reckoning. After the killings, survivors learned which questions were unsafe. Families learned how to edit their own histories. Children learned that certain years were not meant to be discussed, and certain names were not meant to be repeated. Remembering out loud carried risk. This is where folklore begins to gather. Stories circulated around places like Lubang Buaya. People said you felt sick if you stayed too long. The conversations died there. that locals knew not to linger and never explained why. Folklore does not accuse, it does not demand evidence, and that is why it survives. What is striking about these stories is what they lack. There is no single monster, no identifiable spirit, no clear antagonist to confront. Instead, the fear is environmental. It exists in the land, in the atmosphere, in places where something feels wrong but cannot be named. Horror in this context is not exaggeration. It's what's left when nothing else is allowed to speak.